Hello, beautiful people. Ever wonder why you didn't get promoted when you knew you were the right person for the job? Let's talk about how you can turn this disappointment into your biggest opportunity using a simple 5-step process. Are you stuck wondering why someone less qualified than you got the promotion that you wanted? Here's the truth and a 5-step process that will allow you to be able to take control of your career. The next time you're passed over for a promotion, don't blame yourself and don't blame anyone else. Use this 5-step process to be able to get back on track. At the end of this video, you will have a clear 5-step process that will allow you to be able to get back on track, to be able to build a powerful collaborative relationship with your boss, and to be able to design the career that you want for yourself. It's perfectly normal to be disappointed when you don't get a promotion. You'd be crazy if you weren't. But the most important thing you can do is to use that disappointment to your advantage. The hard truth when it comes to not getting a promotion is that you're the one who cares about you most. Even if you have fantastic family, fantastic friends, and wonderful partnerships, you're still the one who cares most about your promotions and your career. So you have two choices when you don't get promoted and you're feeling disappointed, and you know you're the only one who cares the most, is you can either blame somebody else. Mostly the result of that is that you end up blaming your boss, or you can use this as an opportunity to be able to step above it and learn how to be able to have difficult conversations, something that'll keep you in good stead for the entire rest of your career. I'm going to talk to you about the 5 steps for having these kind of difficult conversations. Step number 1 is take full responsibility. This is really hard to do when you're feeling disappointed and when you're feeling like you should have gotten the promotion, somebody else got it, you didn't get it. It's really easy to fall into blame and just projecting your disappointment onto other people and maligning other people because you didn't get what you wanted. It's much, much more effective for you to step way out of that and not look to blame anyone else. The thing to do instead is for you to take responsibility for what happened and use it as an opportunity to be able to learn what you could have done differently. The fact that you didn't get a promotion at this point is water under the bridge. There's pretty much nothing that you can do about that. There's an awful lot you can do about the future promotion you do want to get. Step number 2 is to be brutally honest with yourself. One of the things that'll help you be brutally honest with yourself is to take the promotion readiness assessment, and there's a link for that in the comments. But the promotion readiness assessment will help you be able to identify 3 or 4 things that you might have been able to do differently that would have positioned you better for the promotion. So this is where you get really honest with yourself and you try and step outside of yourself. Look at yourself as your boss's peers would look at you and begin to identify 3 or 4 things. It doesn't have to be a whole list of things, just 3 or 4 things. You don't want to beat up on yourself. 3 or 4 things that you might have been able to do differently that would have positioned you better for the promotion that you wanted. Step number 3 is to set up a meeting with HR, and don't tell everyone you're talking to HR, because when that happens, everyone gets a little freaked out. You're simply meeting with your departmental HR representative or whoever represents HR in your organization, depending on the size of it. And you're sitting down with them and trying to understand what your career path and your career trajectory and your career options are. So what you're doing in there is you're trying to see whether or not the 3 or 4 points that you've written down are the best ones. And you're talking to HR about what it would take for you to be able to make that next step. And you might even consider sharing your 3 or 4 points in ways that you think you could have done better with them at that time. Ideally, what you're doing is you're coming out of that meeting with a certain validation that yes, you're on the right track to thinking differently and taking responsibility for your next promotion. And they may even give you a couple of pointers that you might have missed yourself that you can incorporate into your plan for moving forward. Step number 4 is go back now after you've had a little bit of a cooling down period after your conversation with HR and look at your list of 3 or 4 things and see if there's anything that you want to change. Because what you're doing is you're using this simple little list as a preparation for the conversation that you're going to have next. And the more preparation you do for the conversation, the less difficult it's going to be. Step number 5 is ask your boss for a meeting. The subject matter for this email or for this request is you want to talk about your career progression. Now, the thing to remember is your boss is expecting this because they know that you wanted a promotion I hope they knew you wanted a promotion. If you didn't, that's a whole other video and we do need to talk about that. But they know you wanted a promotion and they're expecting you to come and talk to them about your career progression. The important thing in here is that you don't want to make it about you being entitled to a promotion. You want to make it about you taking responsibility. So I've had many of these conversations over my career with people who've reported to me, and the easiest ones and the most powerful ones, the ones where I could actually design something with the person who was working for me and help them out in a way that I wanted to, because I felt guilty about the fact that I wasn't able to swing the promotion for them this time. And by the way, guilt is a very valuable place to have your boss in, because they are now really wanting to extend themselves in order to be able to help you. And you don't want to play on that, but you want to acknowledge that that exists and that they're now going to go out of their way to help you if they're a decent boss, which hopefully they are. So what to expect in that meeting is you've now done your homework, you're prepared, you've taken a couple of days or a couple of weeks to get yourself into the zone of responsibility where there's no anger towards your boss, no resentment towards the organization. You're simply just taking responsibility for yourself. And you're sitting down with your boss and you're having a conversation based on what you've learned from HR, which your boss may not know all the details of that. And you're also having a conversation based on the areas where you think there's an opportunity for you to improve. When your boss agrees to take the meeting, the conversation with them goes something like this. I'm very appreciative you've taken the time to talk to me about this. I'd like to sit down with you and talk about my career progression. Obviously, I'm disappointed I didn't get the promotion, but I understand that now it's my responsibility to really step up and help you be able to make the case for me next time. Then what you're doing is you're having a conversation with your boss around the 4 or 5 points that you think that you can improve on. Ideally, what's happening at that point is your boss is now contributing to that as well and stepping in and saying, here are areas where I agree with you on this, this, and this. Here's another area where I think you can improve. And what you're looking to do is you're looking to solicit help from them to make sure that you get the next promotion. Because remember, every time your boss is looking to get you promoted, they have to make the case for why it is you're the right person for the role they're looking to move you into. So this is a really deep collaboration with your boss at this point, and they're committing to coach you and help you. If they don't offer to coach you, absolutely you can ask them. You can say, look, I really would like to get it this time around. Can you help me and coach me, and use the words and coach me here, here, and here where I think I could actually do better? More than likely, if your boss is a decent boss, they will absolutely agree, because it's a delight and a pleasure for them when they get promoted. They like celebrating with you when you get promoted. And it's important to remember that and believe that when you're going into this meeting. So what you're doing with this overall process is you're demonstrating a strong level of responsibility. You're demonstrating willingness to be coached. And you're also demonstrating a willingness to be able to co-invent and collaborate with your boss. And when I say co-invent, what I mean is together you're designing what is the best route for you to take, what are the new skills you need to learn, what are the new opportunities you need to be put in, you need to be able to take that will allow you to be able to make the promotion the next time round. So the reason why this works so well is that you're demonstrating a level of responsibility, willingness to be coached, and a taking charge of your career and your career path. You're building relationships with HR, you're building a much more powerful relationship with your boss, and you're taking responsibility for your career, and you're asking yourself the hard questions. Again, the most effective way to be able to do that is to take the promotion readiness assessment. There's a link for it down in the comments, and I'd love to know what you think of it and whether or not it served you. Let me know how your planning for your next promotion goes, and I wish you good luck.